Okay, so good morning, mentorship traders. 29th of November, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. We're doing a morning live session. And to analyze, understand where the Nifty is heading and what do we expect, let's start off with where we left it last week. Let's do a top-down approach as we always do. I have the daily chart of, I have the weekly chart of Nifty spot. Remember this yellow channel, we were talking about the market's going to test the upper border of the yellow channel, which was the psychological 12K, a new high. Well, that's kind of behind us now for some days. So welcome to a new life high for the markets. Not much worry coming in from the momentum indicators down here. This is a quick ATR Bollinger Band that we use from our trading perspective, not very useful over here. So let's ignore it for the time being. Let's focus on these two parts. So looking at the medium term, intermediate time frame, where are we heading? Well, the blue channel of ours, which has proven itself so well, as per the channel boundaries on the upside, this is where probably we are heading. The channel target comes somewhere close to 13,000, 13,500. Now that is time to be tested whether this comes or not. But according to this channel, which is such beautifully mapped the behavior of price, well, that's where we are heading from a medium term perspective. Let's quickly do a check on the daily charts, which will give us immediate short-term levels. So you could recall this 11,600, 700 zone of resistance is broken out. We have kept this level because we expected when market comes down like this one, like when the market was coming down here, we thought that this might get tested. So nothing like that happened. So it means it's a very strong market. Now we are much higher. So these kind of levels are a little far off because previous lows can kick in. But I'll still keep it for a few more weeks, just for the sake of it. But the important thing on the daily chart is this new yellow rising channel, which I've got from the relative strength index and closing prices. Now, this is a very, very interesting short-term channel for sure, because I have multiple tests on the lower border. I have multiple tests on the upper border also, and it is kind of inching close to the upper range of this rising channel, which is close to 12,250 to 60 kind of levels, not far off, let's say 100, 150 points. Excuse me. So if I look at the momentum indicators, not much to worry from the daily time frame as well. So it seems like that the market is all poised for the test of the upper border of this channel. I would like to bring in a little bit of my experience here, that when we get these kind of channels, we tend to also get a breakout above these channels in a very strong, positive, sentiment-driven bull market, which is the case right now. So if we get a breakout of this channel on the upside, don't be extremely bullish. I think that is the sign where we should book in some profits, because generally these kind of rising breakouts lead to a throwback within the channel. Time will show us what happens, but if you find the market going further 100, 150 points, if you have a portfolio of stocks, a short-term portfolio of stocks, then I would suggest that you can book partial profits. It's a very strong bull market. There's no doubt about it. There are much higher upsides. But from a short-term perspective, it's a good level to take some profits off the table. 75-minute chart. Well, essentially, the 75-minute chart is reflecting similar kind of channels that we drew. So I can take this off, which I drew. So this is the behavior. I can quickly cross-check the validity. So essentially, the yellow channel is something like this. There you go. So this is what we are looking at. This is the same yellow channel that we draw on the daily chart. We're looking at a granular view from the 75-minute chart. So this is where we are heading. It seems like all are well poised There's no worry coming in from the momentum indicators, because momentum is a leading indicator. It always gives an early sign. Nothing of that sort from the 75 or the daily or the weekly. So I think we're all poised for much further upsides. As we always do, we'll quickly take a look at the Bank Nifty also. Bank Nifty on the weekly time frame, amazing move. I think we'll keep this same. We can take this out. It's actually not meaningful at all. So red channel, that's exactly where we're heading. So we're looking at levels of 33,000 as per this red rising channel. Nice. So amazing move. We are, I think if I turn it into a bar chart, we are in our 4, 2, 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 8 consecutive positive weeks. Parabolic move, which we can see on the daily chart. Look at this steepness of the move and how well it has held on to it. Not only is it steep, it is unsustainable, but it is holding well. That is really the kind of movement that the Bank Nifty has supported the overall market. A new life high, and at this juncture, if you recall, a few weeks back, we were expecting that the private sector banks can little slow down, etc., etc. But nothing of that sort actually happened for just a day and zoom. So going back to the weekly chart, we have a strong medium-term, long-term uptrend. So upper border of the red channel, 33,000. Shorter time frame, if we come down to the daily charts, we have a clean breakout. I can't have a channel over here because the very steepness, the angle of this move does not allow me to have a decent channel. So even if I take a look, it's very, very difficult. I did not find any good channel to draw. So that's why I have not drawn any. Intraday levels, if I go to the 75-minute chart, then over here, we have a breakout of this rising channel. Markets are strong, poised, deeply overbought. Doesn't matter. That's a sign of a bull market. It's just went above the upper channel. By the theory of what we discussed for the Nifty, it'll be interesting to see whether it takes off from here or not, or does it decide to bounce back within the channel, find some support and go up. Well, my personal feeling is such steepness can't sustain for long. Of course, a time will come when it will ease off, but when? I don't see any signs of divergences shaping up on the daily. So maybe this market has still some steam, strength, stamina left to push it further up, take the final shots out of the picture, and then probably will decide to come down. No need to go contra on the daily, weekly charts. From the intraday point of view, if you find any contrarian short positions to be taken, one can take it, but be very careful because the markets are on a very strong momentum. So net bottom line of our analysis remains the same. Strategically, we remain bullish. We look to stay on the long side, stay with the trend. The moment we get any signs, early signs of a top out, we will definitely use that to slow down our positions. But as I discussed in the Nifty, the next 100 points move, start taking profits off the table. If you've been accumulating stocks, take some partial profits. If you've been doing SIP for a long period of time and you've bought at lower levels and you're getting some good returns, remember that mutual fund SIPs over the last 2.5 years have not given you good returns. It's a clean, correlated function of the behavior of the market. Now, if you're seeing some kind of profits, probably you would get in the tune of 10 to 15, 13%, depending on the fund that you've bought. And if you don't have any lock-in, I would suggest that take the a small part of the profits off in the next 150 points. All right, so that's about it. Let's start with your doubts and questions on the market. What stocks are there on our radar and what trades to be taken today? We have 5 minutes for the opening. So membership traders, all up to you. Please, let's start discussing about our plan of action of trades in today's market.